If you're an agent here in Austin, you've definitely been in a listing appointment recently where the numbers just didn't feel right to your client. The data felt disconnected from their reality, and your standard CMA, honestly, probably wasn't bridging that gap. So today, we're going to diagnose exactly why that's happening and then lay out a really clear framework to fix it. All right, let's get into it.
This is the sentence causing more friction in listing appointments across Central Texas than anything else right now. And look, it's a totally logical objection from a seller's point of view. They see a recent sale, it's an identical house, and they anchor to that price. But here's the thing. In today's Austin market, that anchor is probably dragging them down, and it's our job to explain why. And this all leads to the core problem, right? A seller can talk to 3 fantastic, data-driven agents and get 3 defensible but wildly different price recommendations. Now, this isn't happening because anyone's bad at their job, not at all. It's because the market is moving faster than our traditional methodology can keep up with. The tool itself is under stress.
So what do we call this? Well, there's a term for it, temporal compression, and this is the central idea for this whole explainer. It basically means the market has moved so much, so fast, that our standard 6 or 12-month look-back period for comps now includes totally different market conditions. We're essentially comparing apples from last spring to oranges from this winter and expecting it to make sense.
This timeline really shows you the source of that compression. I mean, look at it. From that peak in 2022, the Austin market went through a pretty significant 18% correction before it started to find its footing again. All of that price whiplash is now sitting inside our standard comp window, and it is creating chaos in our calculations.
And here's what that chaos looks like in the data. If you run a CMA with a standard 12-month lookback here in Travis County right now, the price range of your comparable sales averages a massive 14% swing. But just by shortening that lookback to 6 months, you cut that variance in half, down to about 7%. This proves that your date range, your lookback window, is now one of the most critical decisions you make when pricing a home.
So, okay, this is all interesting theory, but how does this actually show up in your day-to-day business? Let's walk through 3 scenarios that I guarantee are going to feel very, very familiar. First up, the identical house problem. Your listing is a mirror image of a home that sold just a few months ago for $485, but all your most recent comps, they're landing somewhere around $450. The conversation with your client can't just be about the home's features anymore. You have to shift the focus to when that $485 value was measured, explaining that the market back in March was fundamentally different than the one we're in today.
Scenario number 2, the relocation buyer. They're coming in from a slower, more stable market, and they are completely baffled by the pricing they're seeing in Austin. They look at a CMA and they ask, why is there a $20,000 spread in your recommendation? They see it as you being uncertain. The real challenge here is that your report, the CMA itself, needs to visually communicate this market velocity. You can't be the only one doing all the explaining.
And third, the refinance collision. You know this homeowner. They bought in 2021 for, say, $380,000 and then watched their online estimate rocket past $500,000. So when you present an accurate CMA at $430,000, it feels like a huge loss to them, even though it's a $50,000 gain on what they paid. Your job becomes reframing their entire reference point, shifting it away from that temporary digital peak and back to the real, durable equity they've actually built.
Now, if these scenarios feel personal, it's because they are happening everywhere. Nearly half, 43%, of listing appointments in Austin this past year have involved major pricing disagreements that stem directly from this issue of temporal comp selection. This is the defining challenge of our market right now.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem pretty thoroughly. Now, how do we actually solve it? Let's build a practical framework you can start using right away to create clearer, more defensible CMAs and ultimately win that listing.
It really comes down to 5 key steps. First, just acknowledge the velocity right up front. Don't hide from it. Second, you have to shorten your look-back period. 90 days is ideal because that's where the most relevant data lives. Third, analyze the price per square foot trend over time to show the direction of the market, not just a static snapshot. Fourth, and this is a big one, intentionally widen your price recommendation to honestly reflect that movement. And finally, and maybe most importantly, you have to frame the entire conversation proactively.
This is the language you can use. When you present your CMA, you can point to the price range and say this directly. You're not presenting uncertainty. You are presenting expertise. You're showing them that you understand the nuances of the Austin market today and that a narrow, overly precise number would actually be irresponsible.
And here's the ultimate payoff for getting this right, for you and for your client. Our data shows that properties priced using this velocity-aware method priced to the current market, sell over 3 times faster than properties still priced against those outdated peak-era comps. That right there is the difference between a smooth transaction and a frustrating few months of price reductions.
So the takeaway is this: responsible pricing has to reflect current conditions, not past hopes. It demands a methodology that can account for velocity. And frankly, this is what we built CMA Flow to handle. When the market moves faster than standard methodology can track, the confidence indicator adjusts automatically, communicating the market's real status to you and your client. If you want to see how to build that reality right into your workflow, the link is in the description below.